Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sarah Jones. This is one of our minisodes where I get to listen to your ghost stories. For this minisode, I hung out with my buddy Joe Scanlan. He had 2 interesting experiences when he lived in California. Here's the interview. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's start with tell the listeners who you are and something about yourself.
Anything about myself?
Yeah, just to introduce, to give people an idea of your character, I guess.
Okay, all right. My name is Joey Scanlan, and...
It doesn't have to be like a confession or anything like that. But, it can be. This can be a platform of any kind, if you need it to be.
Oh, God, I don't even know now. I gleeked on someone one time.
What does that mean?
Oh, my God. I was talking to someone, and it's where, your saliva glands are overactive.
Okay.
And so I was, closer than you and I are right now.
Okay.
But I was just, talking with this person, and, in mid-conversation... it just water, spritzed out of my mouth, and it went on their face, and I was just kind of looking at them
Now we're closer than we ever have been before.
Do I wipe this off, or, I'm sorry?
Wipe it off with your thumb and kiss them on the forehead. Who was that person to you?
It was a friend from high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you go way back. Did they laugh about it, or...?
Hopefully. I'm still cool with him, but yeah, I didn't know if I should just be Simba.
Spread it over his head. That would have definitely been the cordial thing to do.
Yeah, we walked away after that happened.
Yeah, and never spoke again.
Well, all right, I'll see you at lunch. Good talking to you.
And then you took a shower?
Probably.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay, so where does your story take place?
So this story was from about 8 years ago. I was still living with my parents, and at the time was living in San Jose. And I had never really cared much at all or cared deeply enough about spirits or ghosts or anything. It just didn't really seem to be something that mattered to me, I guess. I don't know. It was just I'd never had any kind of real connection with that. But it was one night I was going to sleep, and I had the TV on. I was watching, Bar Rescue, I think, or something like that.
Wait. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
But I need to mention it again because Bar Rescue, what's the name of the guy who
John Taffer. Or John Taffer?
John Taffer.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the Mucinex guy.
It's just this big, large man. It's the accent, too. It's yeah, we'll stay in there for a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like they illustrated him, the Mucinex guy, based on John Taffer.
With his little suitcase and everything.
Yeah.
Just showing up to the bar.
He's pissed.
I'm gonna be here for a little while.
Yeah. It's like a spitting image to me.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Well, I guess, that's more mucus. It's not the same as gleeking on someone, but... That
is true. Well, it's a little bit cleaner, at least. Yeah, all I can think of is, the sound of him, screaming at just random people who own bars. Just Anyways, okay. So, outside of the glory that is John Taffer.
Yes.
Taffer.
So
I was having this dream, which was not I'm sure you've had night terrors, and you've had, really bad nightmares, and even at the really bad ones, you get... really vivid memories of things that happened, small details, or you know exactly what the setting was. But the callback to it I remember was even the way that things smelled, or just exactly how dark it was. But I was basically walking through this forest alone for some reason, and I remember it was just dark enough to not really be able to see anything in front of you, but there was enough moonlight that I could look up and see the silhouettes of just this giant dead forest I was in, lots of scraggly trees, no leaves or anything. And I got to a point where I was walking towards the front of this cliff. The cliff edge was in front of my face. And I looked up, and just with enough moonlight coming from way beyond in the distance was this creature or thing, or it even kind of looked like a tree, but I noticed it was kind of shifting around, and it definitely had arms and legs, and it was looking at me, and it was just real lanky and just freaky looking. And I stopped, but I wasn't exactly afraid. I remember not being scared of that, but I kind of put my hand out with my palm flat out against whatever it was, and I remember either trying to push it away or trying to walk towards it. I don't remember which one it was, and that was the strange thing, because I was reaching near it, but it was, like I said, either to push it away or not. And once I got close...
you don't remember what your intentions were when you put your arm out. You just remember doing that.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the two. I don't remember thinking either one of them, but just must have just been like, what the hell is that? And put my hand out because it was so dark. And as soon as I got within about like 10 feet or so, I heard like in both my ears, like it was right almost like in my brain, but just on the outs, like right in both ears, like stereo, the sound of like almost like a woman being stabbed or like someone dying. And
like a scream?
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah?
Yeah, it was just a blood-curdling scream in both my ears, and like that was it. That was the end of the dream.
Wait, you said you could remember how it smelled? And that just stuck with me. I was trying to like picture myself being there.
Yeah.
What did it smell like?
Kind of like in fall when it's really mildewy and it's got sort of like I don't want to say like a sweet smell.
Like a damp, but so kind of like a smell of like it's going to rain kind of, and like you're in the woods and there's like leaves.
Dark, broody, kind of ominous, sort of overcast, cold weather. Feel like this mistiness in the air. It was so fucking strange.
So the second you put your hand out to this shadowy, sharp, lanky, dark, tall figure.
Yeah.
The second you put your hand out, you heard a shrill scream all around you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a much better way of putting it. During a blood-curdling scream in both my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then did it sound like it was coming from inside your head or like around you, like outside of you, echoing in the woods?
That's a really good question. No, it had like no echo. It was like you're like wearing headphones and the volume's like turned up to 100%.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that by itself was freaky. The next part was what freaked me out the most. I think we were living in a house that had new cable boxes put in, and I remember waking up and that being obviously horrible.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't wake up with a smile, but I shot up.
Was John Tapper still screaming when you woke up?
I almost thought for a while that it might have just been, the sound of John Tapper on TV just screaming at someone for not making a mojito right. And that was the cause of that. But when I shot up out of bed, I remember staring straight at the TV because it was facing my feet. And essentially it had static, like the signal had been lost, but on that new box, it tells you whatever's wrong with it, and in this little message box that was in the center of the static, like a black outline, it said, cable signal interrupted.
Okay. Was it storming outside?
No.
Or windy?
No.
So the cable just kind of went out.
As I woke up.
As you woke up. You watched it kind of happen when you were waking up too?
No, I mean, it had already been like that when I woke up. And that's what freaked me out. Yeah. So not even John Tapper could save me from whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, and if he can't save you, who can?
God, I don't know. I just had no idea what to make of it. And then slept for the next week with the lights on. Yeah. And did not pee ever in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so fucking strange. I had a friend that had just come back from Bible college and a friend that was really into black metal and pagan shit, and asked them both can you guys tell me whatever the fuck that was?
The light and dark side.
It was definitely, it was
Give
good,
me some perspective
round consensus
here.
on the spectrum. And
not that paganism would be dark side, but black metal.
Oh yeah.
Can dabble in. Never mind. I don't want to offend anybody because I have friends who, practice paganism or Wiccan, and I'm not against it.
Oh no, totally.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to be clear.
Oh yeah, no. They're opposite ends of the spectrum, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's he had a pentagram tattoo over where his heart is.
Right.
Compared to the guy who was he smoked a wooden pipe with tobacco in it and was learning about God this week was cool.
Bible school. Did he want to be a priest or something?
He did, yeah.
Oh, he did.
He did. That did not.
It didn't pan out.
No, he had a falling out with God, and
oh no.
He reaffirmed his faith after a while, but he was on a really strict path in Bible college. Yeah. And I think he just found out it wasn't really for him. Yeah. We always still call him the pizza priest, though. He ended up becoming a delivery driver. One long night of a lot of people being messed up was him opening a door into a dark room that we were all sitting in because we were fucking weirdos, and him with a light behind him holding a pizza like midnight, and we're like, oh my god, it's our savior. And then he just left. He literally like showed up with a free pizza and he left.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a cool guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy with the pentagram tattoo over his heart.
Yeah, so those guys together.
Yeah.
And they're buddies, or they're just both your friends that don't know each other?
We were for a while. Eventually, people kind of parted ways. I think the other guy lives somewhere else now. Mm-hmm. My friend Brandon is from Bible college. Who went to Bible college, I'm still friends with. But I asked them both, and they both kind of came to the consensus that whatever it was, either if you want to go biblical, or if you want to go more of like a pagan or Wiccan route, was that was definitely some kind of entity that was trying to reach me, and the medium it was using, like an electromagnetic medium, was the TV being on. Mm-hmm. And whatever dream I had was correlated to whatever beast or creature was trying to reach out to me. And I've tried to look up, whatever it was, and that's, it's not fucking Slender Man or anything like that. But,
yeah.
They thought whatever it was.
I pictured more of like, almost like something that you would see in like a video game, but like sharp. Like I pictured almost like in a giant insect man. Yeah. But only dark.
Or like Groot's asshole brother.
So it was like kind of like a tree then more?
I thought it looked kind of like it at first because all the trees had really sharp like dead branches on them too. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that was my first thought.
So it was really skinny then?
Yeah. It was like skinny and lanky. It had like a lot of sharp appendages and stuff like that. I guess that would be the best way to put it. Oh,
interesting. Okay. Yeah, that helps me picture it a little bit better.
And again, that was the part about it that I could never figure out, was because it was so dark. All I could really see was the outline of it. Yeah. You could barely see the outline of the trees. I could only see even the top of the cliff because the moonlight was either beyond clouds or it was just non-existent at all. Mm-hmm. At least from what I can remember. I'm pretty sure it was like almost pitch black. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they said that whatever it was some kind of entity that was trying to reach out to me for probably something nefarious. Mm-hmm. And when I put my hand out, mm-hmm. that was either to push it away or see what it was. And the scream was probably it, in frustration, not being able to either get in or to reach out to me.
So you said it sounded like a woman getting murdered.
Mm-hmm. It was a really high-pitched, shrill, like, manic scream.
Yeah, but not inhuman. Like, it sounded like a female mm-hmm. voice. Interesting.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know. I never doubted it after that. That was just, it felt too real. Even if it was a dream, it was nothing I ever saw in person. So that kind of ties into another one I had, where this was like 6 months after that. And I'm like 19, I have nothing to do. And so my friends one night are just like, want to go to where, someone got fucking murdered? And I was like, yeah, like, but also we're going to do chain smoke in a parking lot? Yeah. So we had like 2 cars full of people, and we went up to, at least as they told me while we were kind of waiting around to go, was Marsh Road up near Milpitas, up in the hills. So we all took a ride up there. I didn't really learn about what exactly it was until I got back, but we go up to this road. It's like next to private property, which is, even more stupid, but of course mm-hmm. we were like, oh, this is going to be even better. All right, let's fucking go. And it apparently whatever it was like in a ravine.
You're with, how many people are you with?
Like a couple carfuls, so it might have been like 8 or 9, I think. Mm-hmm. So we had a decent amount of people, and we were going through the forest, and that's, looking back on it, like, that's when things started to draw parallel, but it was up in the hills, and I believe where this happened was near Calaveras Reservoir, which is like up in the hills.
What's it called?
Calaveras Reservoir.
Calaveras?
Yeah.
Okay, that's in California?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like you go up into the mountains to get to this road, and mm-hmm. then you kind of go down into the valley where the reservoir is, and it's near a private road, or near a private property. And so we like skimmed the private property, and as far as I remember what they told me at the time was it was in a ravine where she had died next to a bridge. And at that point, when you go to a haunted place, you're always like really skeptical of what you hear. Yeah. And I mean, the guy behind me could have farted and I'd have been like, oh. Yeah. Like, oh my God, it's a ghost. Yeah. It's like, no, that was just Taco Bell. It's okay.
Yeah.
But, so like, we kept going, and I mean, I started to feel weird because we had gone to the private road at the beginning, and you see stuff like, there's pentagrams and people spray paint like really, really creepy shit. I'm like, ooh,
Like what? The pentagrams and
stuff. I mean, stuff symbols like "get out" or just like weird symbols. I don't know if it was someone that was practicing graffiti or someone decided to have their nightly cup of meth or something as a nightcap.
Yeah.
Gone to town with artwork on street signs.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, I don't give a shit about that. That's fine. I'm still going to go on this road. I want to go wherever the creepy stuff is.
Yeah.
But once we started getting into the woods, that's when I started to just, like, not feel okay. It just got this really bad feeling that I couldn't really describe. And that's when we got really deep near the ravine, and we heard someone say, "Hey." Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure it was a guy saying it. But we hightailed it out as soon as we heard that, and it might have been the adrenaline, but I was just absolutely hightailing it. And I remember seeing this, like, I thought it was like an orb or something. And at first, looking back, I was like, okay, that was a flashlight, because it's probably some guy chasing us off of his property. But it wasn't, like, flip-flopping around and some dude just, like, freaking out, like, ah, god damn it.
Yeah.
In true John Taffer style. But, it stayed like the same height, I guess, while it was somewhat following us. I want to say it wasn't like right there the whole time, but it had definitely been coming towards us as we were running away.
And when you just looked back, you saw it basically? Yeah,
I mean, when I ran, I saw my friends, I saw it, and then I kept running, and I obviously kept looking back because I wanted to make sure, they weren't getting pulled into the nether or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I kept seeing it, and it was still getting closer, but it was super stable, I guess the best way to put it. Like, in movies and stuff, you can see a flashlight flops around if you're looking at it from the distance.
Oh, yeah, or like you go on a walk in the woods with the flashlight. Like, it moves with every step you take. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, compared to that was just weird. That was so bad. And, like,
did the orb thing feel bad?
Not the orb, but I got a bad feeling from being there.
Well, especially I'm sure it was someone with private property is, like, pissed.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling. I feel that every time I'm at a haunted place with a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like that fear of, like, we're really not supposed to be here. And that's a scary feeling by itself.
Yeah, and I mean, add on the tension of it, of something real that happens there, too. But the voice was definitely male, so I don't think that was part of it, but I thought that it was just total BS once we left. Mm-hmm. That, something had happened or whatever, and I looked up what it was, and there was an actual murder. I forget what the lady's name was. It was this woman named Marcy Renee Conrad. She was a student at oh my god, I'm so bad right now.
No, you're fine. I didn't expect you to do homework before the interview anyways, so
I did.
That's cool.
I just completely forgotten, because when I went home and looked at it, I was like, holy shit, this is real.
Yeah.
It was Milpitas High School. That's where it was. She was a student at Milpitas High School, and she was killed by a sophomore who, I've heard stories that he was like a football player, and then I've heard stories that he was a weirdo, is one of those guys that people always say, oh, we knew he was, he was one of those. And she died when she was about 14, I think.
Oh, no.
But he basically took her out up into the mountains and then raped her and killed her.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it was under the ravine. It ended up actually being a real thing. In fact, it was the basis for this movie called River's Edge. But one of the things that was in the movie that was fairly true, the only reason he was caught, because what did he do? For the next 2 days, he was taking all the punks and metalheads that were at the high school, and he was showing them the body.
Was he friends with all those people?
I don't know, but I mean, apparently he was showing a lot of fucked up people, and that's the sketch part. And it took someone after the second day.
He was showing them all the body that was left behind?
They were driving up. I guess that was a popular spot back in the day to go to, and he was taking people up, or going to hang out.
Smoke pot or something?
I guess. I don't know. This is the DARE program's wet dream. Metalheads smoking your pot grass and going to look at dead bodies up in the mountains. Yeah, and after a couple days, someone finally called the cops, and he admitted it completely, even while he's still been in jail. He's still alive. Anthony Jacques Broussard.
So he was just showing it off to... How many people did he show the body to?
It was an SF Weekly article that I looked at. I don't remember exactly how many... I don't think it said how many people. But
just a handful of classmates that he was like, look.
Hey, want to go fucking check out a dead body?
That's fucked.
Yeah.
You didn't really think there was a murder there, but when you looked it up, you're like, holy shit, there really was.
Yeah.
And did that make you think twice about the orb thing that you saw?
It did, and especially about the feeling that I got, too. Mm-hmm. Because the feeling that I'd had in the dream and the feeling that I'd had with whatever I was looking at in the dream reminded me a lot of how I felt when I was obviously running as fast as I could to get out of there. But I don't know. I've tried not to try and put two and two together, but like the setting and the time of night that I went, it had a really strange vibe to it because it felt really similar to what I had, seen or been a part of, to the dream that I'd had from and going out and seeing that. It was really strange.
So did you think they were connected, or do you think it's like a paranormal feeling, basically?
I've definitely wondered if that's what that was trying to reach me in the dream that night. If it's obviously pretty far-fetched, but like if that was her, almost in a way, like if the scream had been her trying to reach me, or maybe I was, in her shoes in that dream, and whatever creature was, staring down on me from the cliff top was the guy who killed her. That. Ugh.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Interesting.
But it was really strange.
Whenever I hear people talking about orbs, like in a picture, like I've seen pictures online of like, oh, there's an orb that came out in this cemetery, and I never buy it. Like I always think it's kind of bullshit. Like, because sometimes like you can get like dust on the screen or something.
Oh sure, especially with how easy it is to Photoshop something now.
Oh yeah, but even like I feel like well-intentioned people think that they see orbs in a picture, but it really could just be dust or something, specks of dust in the air. There's all kinds of things. It could be light reflecting off of the lens, like all kinds of stuff. But to actually see an orb in person is a totally different experience, and it almost makes me rethink my original opinion about orbs.
I mean, you never know. And like I said, I'm still such a skeptic, and up to the point where I thought in my head for a while after, like, I was running, I'm sure I didn't see what I thought I saw. Maybe it was someone had their phone out or something. I don't know. But when I look back the second time, that's what freaked me out.
Yeah.
That's what got me going, like, what in the fuck was that?
Because it seemed solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the adrenaline that I was feeling, just like, go, go, go.
I still just picture Glenda or Glinda from Wizard of Oz. Oh, she comes up in that bubble. Mm-hmm. Glinda. The Good Witch.
Right.
Glinda. Right? Or is it Glenda?
Totes.
Do you remember?
Nope. Not at all.
I think it's Glinda. What the fuck? That was like my favorite movie as a kid. It's Glinda. Glinda. But for some reason that just sounded wrong.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah, thanks, Google.
The almighty Google.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting is like the fact that poor girl got, what was her name? Doesn't matter.
Marcy Renee Conrad.
It does matter. Marcy Renee Conrad. The fact that Marcy got murdered in the first place, and then her body was just laying there in the ravine, and then she was put on display where he like brought people over to show off what he did to her.
Right.
I wonder if she didn't feel kind of like a spectacle at that time, and also when you and your buddies were there checking it out, like I could see her kind of being like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this, like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that orb following you was, like, pushing you away from, get out of here.
The fucking far away as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's how a lot of hauntings work with places or events that happen to people, whether it was right before they died or if it was something traumatic in their life, but if there's anything holding them in whatever medium that Earth is before they can pass on to whatever place they're going to, they usually stick to the traumatic event. Yeah. Something that's holding them from moving on.
That's a point.
That orb was pissed.
The orb seemed pissed?
It was following us, for sure.
Well, thank you for telling me your terrifying story.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed Joey's ghost stories as much as I did. If you have a great paranormal story, we want to hear from you. People keep asking me if it has to be a ghost story. I've had people ask me if stories about demons or possessions are something I'd be interested in hearing about. Yes, definitely. If you have had a paranormal experience that you want to tell me about, email us your story to litdarkpodcast@gmail.com. We might want to put you on the show. As always, thank you so much for listening.